YouTube. Griffin here, coming back to y'all with another live stream. Hopefully, everything is doing all right. I'm actually streaming from my other phone currently because it shouldn't bounce as much. I have another phone, of course, my personal phone, and those pop socket mounts, they suck for trying to stream while driving. So I got my other phone pulled up here, the one that I actually shattered. So hopefully, or not shattered, but broke it. It fell right on its face. So hopefully stream quality's doing all right. If we bump into some spots that, you know, kind of go in and out of service, just bear with me. Here in the Dallas, Texas area, we are catching up in terms of infrastructure. Of course, we've had hundreds of thousands of people moving to the Dallas, Texas area. So as you all can expect, the infrastructure is just impossible to try to keep up down here. But hopefully, trying to turn down this GPS. Hopefully, y'all are having a great day so far, great start to your week. You're staying safe out here in this heat. It is right on 100 degrees right now here in northwest Dallas. I'm actually in Flower Mound, Texas at the moment, which is like far northwest Dallas up towards Denton County. For those of you that are familiar with the area, and for those of you that aren't, you probably have no idea. Just know it's in northwest Dallas, essentially far northwest Dallas. We have about a 45 to 50-minute drive home, assuming that no idiots get in any accidents or anything. Be praying for everybody to not be a bunch of dum-dums on their way home from work this evening and get home safely to their friends and family and all that good stuff. But of course, these live streams are for you guys specifically. So if you're hopping in or anything, don't hesitate to ask a question, specifically, of course, in regards to starting and owning a pest control business or growing a pest control business. We talk about all sorts of topics here when it comes to running and operating, the business. Talk about the financials. We talk about marketing. We talk about, customer acquisition costs. We talk about all sorts of stuff on this channel ultimately. If you don't know who I am, by the way, my name is Griffin Thomas, of course, like you've seen the name of my YouTube channel. I am the owner of the company you may see down here at the bottom, Preferred Pest Management. We've been in business for about 3 years now. It'll be coming up on 3 years here in a short, 2 to 3 months roughly. So on this channel, I just document my journey and, just let you guys know what's working, what's not working. We talk about, like I said, all sorts of subjects in the business. A common question that I get to kind of, dive into just some of the questions that I get when it comes to starting a pest control company specifically. This will be kind of a broad question and broad answer for you guys, just because this is a very common question. A lot of you, of course, live all over the U.S. Some of you all even live in other countries, like we have some of you all from the UK and some of these other, larger countries that YouTube is available in. Shout out to you all, taking the channel worldwide. But a lot of you all will ask the common question about how do I go about getting certified or becoming, legal to start a pest control company, regardless of what area you may be in. Some of you guys live in, Alabama. We have one of you from Alabama who just joined our live stream past couple nights. We have some of you from California, a lot of California people looking to start a pest control business. New York, we've had a lot of you from New York recently. Like I said, all over the U.S., all over, the world even, ask, how do I become certified? How do I legally start a pest control business in my state, in my area? And like I said, this is going to be kind of a broad answer because I could literally go, I've actually thought about making a playlist for you guys, which I may still do. It's going to take a lot of time, of course. But every time somebody asks about a state or a country or whatever the case may be, I'll pull up, the websites that you need to go to and just kind of create a video for that because it seems to be a popular question and popular search term. And the main thing is you're going to need to go to your Department of Agriculture website for your state. So here in Texas, for example, we have the Texas Department of Agriculture, TDA is what they're called. So anytime I have a question about my pest control business, in regards to getting an employee, their apprentice license, because down here you start with an apprentice license, then a technician license, and then of course lastly the commercial pest control license. From there, you can start a business, of course. But if you have any questions about anything pest control related, you're going to go to your Department of Agriculture website 99.9% of the time. Occasionally, like with us, for scheduling tests and things of that nature, we'll have to go through what's called SPCS, or not SPCS. Is it SPCS or PSI? I forget. One of those weird acronyms. We'll have to go through them for like scheduling actual tests and things of that nature. Um, so, yeah, I mean, there are instances where you may not go to your actual Department of Agriculture website, but like I said, for the most part, in terms of getting your license and figuring out how to do everything the right way, that's who you're going to be going through, is your Department of Agriculture website. So hopefully that will at least steer a lot of you guys in the right direction. I will say a lot of these Department of Agriculture websites can be complicated. They're very deep in terms of how deep, their pages go. A lot of pages you have to really look for, know where to look for them, that kind of thing. And that can kind of make our lives hell, of course, when it comes to things such as licensing, laws, regulations, all of that kind of stuff. But you got to do what you got to do to make sure you stay compliant at the end of the day, right? So start there, dive in deep into the website. Worst case scenario, if you get lost, just pull up another tab. Because like I said, these websites go deep. I mean, in terms of silo structure, they go very deep a lot of times. So it's easy to kind of get lost in the website. If you feel like you get lost in the website, just pull up another tab, pull it up, pull up the homepage again, and just try again. It's simple as that. There's a lot of things that I will go to look for, and I'll spend 30 minutes trying to find what I'm looking for. Usually my rule of thumb is if I have to spend 30 minutes or more on, man, this is why fucking idiots getting wrecks on the road. I tell you. Um, Man, lost my train of thought. Dude literally cut me off, no blinker, nothing. Like crazy. Um, yeah, my rule of thumb is if I have to spend 30 minutes or more on the Texas Department of Agriculture website, then I'm just going to call them. Now, of course, that can kind of be a headache. You have to, if you're already a business owner like me, you have to schedule usually about an hour out of your day because you never know how long you're going to be on hold, how many other people are calling, all of that stuff, right? So it can be kind of time consuming to say the least, but it's better than just driving, your head into a brick wall trying to find information when you can easily just call the Department of Agriculture up and ask them your question. Most Department of Agricultures, they're very friendly people. Of course, you can always catch somebody on a bad day, right? Just like with us out here in pest control. So sometimes we have bad days and people catch us on bad days. It is what it is. But for the most part, like the people I've dealt with at Texas Department of Agriculture, they've been helpful, nice. They're very quick in terms of like sending stuff to your emails and stuff like that, different forums and things. So they're usually very helpful people if you have issues finding any type of information that you need for your business or starting your business. Oops. I'm trying to make sure that our stream health is doing okay. Usually we have some of you guys in here by now. Just making sure maybe YouTube didn't send out a notification to you all. And of course, if you're hopping in and tuning in for the first time, like I always say, don't be shy about asking any questions or anything like that. I'm driving home currently. I have about another 30 minutes or so till I get home. If you joined our stream earlier, you know that today was kind of my quote unquote busy day in terms of drive time. We had to go from Rowlett, Texas, which is where I live, of course, which is like northeast Dallas, northeast Dallas, all the way out to a town called Flower Mound, Texas, which is complete opposite. It's northwest Dallas. It's actually in Denton County, as a matter of fact, just inside Denton County. And they are about 50 minutes apart. So in terms of east to west, this is actually as far as I go for my route. The guy pays me something like $120 a month, roughly, to come out there and, do the services that we do. So, my goal is to over time get more work out this way, but it takes time, of course, because this is a ways out here. This lead that we actually got, this customer, I should say, that we actually got was through Google Local Services. It was our first year in business, as a matter of fact. And I want to say he signed up in like April or May of 2021. So we hadn't even been in a full year of business yet. We've been open for about 6 to 8 months. And that was when Google Local Services was really firing on all cylinders for us. And yeah, I mean, that was when I had Google Local Services set to everywhere that I knew, hey, we may not be going out here often right now, but let's go ahead and get the customers that we can. I'm willing to go everywhere, right? Where now we're a lot more focused with our advertising. It makes it more expensive for us, but it results in a much more, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a more dense route density, I guess, in terms of how many customers that I have in my service area, like Rowlett, Texas, Rockwall, Texas, Garland, Texas, Sachse, the suburbs that surround me. And then from there, we're just kind of slowly but surely working our way out. Not to say that, like I said, I'm turning anybody down by any means. If they're willing to pay our rates, then, we'll by all means go out there. This guy is signed up for our program where we bundle all the services. I've mentioned it on this channel a couple of times where he's on termite, pest, mosquito, tick, and rodent control. And when I say rodent control, it's just simply setting base stations out around the property, checking them, anywhere between 6 to 12 times a year, depending on the activity level, because we're already out there almost every month anyways. And he pays us $120 a month plus tax, I think, $115 or $120 a month plus tax. So, that is enough money to definitely justify coming out here. And like I said, it is about 50 minutes from my home. However, in terms of stops that are close to it, there are stops that are within about 20 minutes from the stop. So it's not like it's really going ultra far, out of our way or anything like that. It's just the furthest point in terms of if you were to pull up all of our stops on a monthly, quarterly basis, this account is the furthest on the west that we'll see. And we expect that over time to fill in. We'll start getting work from Carrollton, Texas. We used to have a couple of Carrollton accounts, 1 or 2 at least, and they ended up, that one in Carrollton was kind of not rude or anything. They just, for some reason, they had a service with us. This was, of course, way before we started charging per month, breaking up our costs in terms of cost for the customer into monthly subscription model. This was actually part of the reason we switched to that, was because we found that a lot of times customers, for whatever reason, thought they were just signing up for a one-time service, and they would go and sign up with another company or something. And that's at least what happened in the case of our customer out here in Carrollton, which we're actually going through right now. They ended up calling somebody else, and their quarterly service came up, and they were like, "Oh, we actually signed up with, I forget who they said now." And I was like, "Oh, well, you have service with us." And we're like, and they were like, "Oh, uh, sorry about that. Then we had no idea. We thought that maybe it was just a one-time service." I was like, "Man, I literally went over this with you." But again, you live and learn. You learn how to explain stuff better in terms of how the service works. With some people, you will find that regardless of how well you possibly lay it out for them, you send them a copy of the service agreement, you go over the service agreement while they're there, and they will still just not get it at the end of the day. Um, but yeah, like I said, we were talking about registering, how to register for your pest control business. For most states, simple. Start out at your Department of Agriculture website. If you're unable to find the answer from there, you're going to want to, call up the Department of Agriculture. Most of them are nice people. They're usually not too busy. It's not like calling the DMV or anything like that. So you don't have to worry about dealing with some DIKs or anything like that. Trying to think of another question off the top of my head that I get from you guys a lot. Um, some of you ask which is like the best advertising platform to use for generating leads, like for marketing your pest control business. In my opinion, if you're brand new, first starting, first and foremost, focus on your Google business profile. I beat that horse to death for you guys because it is free. We cannot, of course, there's work that goes into it. You have to get the reviews, you have to post the updates, update your services constantly, post products in there. Your services are your products, of course. And then, of course, making sure your website is structured properly so that Google will see and know, okay, they service this area, this kind of thing, and that you are a topical authority for that area. But start with that, because, and then from there, of course, dive more into Google local services. In my opinion, just because you can't beat the cost per lead when it comes to Google local services early on. I can't stress enough, early on, when you're first starting, they're going to give you the best price. But as you get further and further, apparently there's a wreck up here. As you get further and further into your journey with Google local services, you'll notice that price just kind of starts to go up over time. So use them while you can, and then from there, make sure you set your limits, because the cool thing about Google local services is, I was talking to one of the reps a long while back. I want to say almost a year ago now. And he was kind of a smart ass about it. So I was like, "Man, why are my lead costs going up so much?" I was like, "We used to pay $20 to $30, maybe 40 at the most per lead. And now we're paying anywhere between $50 to $75. And I'm sure now it would be even more." I had one recently when I had it turned on for like $80. And he was like, "Well, sir, let me ask you, because like are you the owner?" And I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Well, let me ask you, like, you know about supply and demand, right?" And I was like, "Well, yeah." And he was like, "Well, there's been a lot of pest control businesses signing up for Google local services recently, but the number of customers hasn't really changed in your area. So there's more supply in terms of businesses that are on Google local services, but the demand is not keeping up with that. So in terms of, there's more and more companies that are on the platform, and the customers is still staying down here. Therefore, the demand for us, the companies, for the leads is going up. Therefore, you know, they're raising their costs just because they can." And he was like, he told me straight up, like I said, he was kind of being a smart ass at first, but then, he could tell like that I wasn't having it. I was like, "Well, I get that. I mean, that's common sense and blah, 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 blah." He was like, "Well, at the end of the day, Google he was like, it's not me that controls it. Like, no one that you're going to talk to in here controls this at all. It's guys that are way above us, algorithms, this and that. And he said what'll really get it to get the price to come down is if enough companies either A, pause their Google ads, or not Google ads, their Google local service ads, B, leave the platform altogether, or C, you get a bunch, and I'm talking like well over half of the companies setting budget limits in terms of, because the beauty of Google local services, what I was getting to earlier, is you can set up your leads for what's called maximize leads or max amount per lead that you're willing to spend. So he said, pretty much all of the companies on Google local services for pest control set it at just max leads. Like, give me the max amount of leads. I don't care what I spend per lead. Just send me the maximum amount of leads that you can give me. So that is what was driving the price up. And my goodness, boy, hopefully nobody rear ends me. Only in Dallas can you go from 70 to 0 in a matter of 2 seconds. But he was telling me that we all need to set a actual limit on how much we're willing to spend per lead. For example, since everybody has their set at max leads, what's that doing? Making the cost of the leads go up. Whereas say there's 100 companies in your service area, and at first, let's say 95 of them have it set at max leads, and then overnight you go, or even a period of a month, say you go from 95 set at max leads to only 60 at max leads. Google will know really quickly that, wow, we just had close to 30-40% of our customer base, being the pest control companies, pretty much tell us that, hey, we're being charged too much for our leads. We're going to go ahead and set a limit. That way we're not charged more than X. And Google will adjust that accordingly. That's how he was explaining it to me. Now, of course, the odds of that even happening is very slim, because even if, say, you do have a large amount, let's say even 10%, which is a pretty decent number, say you have 10% of businesses go ahead and switch, there's companies joining the platform every day, every week, that do not know this information. They just know that this is another platform they can get leads from and pay per lead. And then on top of that, like we mentioned on this channel a lot, when you first start out with Google local services, they're going to give you the best rate possible because they're trying to reel you in before jacking that price up. So it's kind of a lose-lose battle, unless if we get enough awareness out there in terms of Google local services that all new companies coming into the platform know that, hey, when you come into Google local services, set your budget at max per lead and set it at a realistic number. Now, if you're okay with paying $50 or $100 per lead, by all means, go for it, I guess. But, you got to run the math, guys. You shouldn't be closing more than probably 40% of your sales. And that's if you're a really good salesman. A lot of people will, even me, I mentioned this on a streamer video recently, that even me, way back when I first, and I was closing like 60 to 80% of my sales, like I was kind of walking high and mighty, which, I mean, don't get me wrong, like a lot of those sales were great sales, but there were a lot of them too where, I was working with people I didn't want to work with. I was underselling my services, like undervaluing myself and my company. And now, ever since we've made some adjustments, we're really only closing anywhere between about 30 to, at the best, 50% of our sales. I want to say, yeah, right around 30 to 50%, sometimes even as low as 25%. So keep that in mind when you're setting the costs that you're thinking about in your head, and make it clear. Put it on paper, put it in a document, whatever the case may be, to remind yourself what you're willing to pay per lead. Because say you're only going to close about 1 in 3 leads, then say your cost per lead is $50, for example, just an easy number. That's $150 per customer acquisition. That's not horrible or anything. Like me, I'm okay with paying $50 per lead, based on our close rates. But at some point, enough is enough. You don't want to be paying, you know, $500, two. Oops, apparently we lost service there for a second. Unless if you're one of these massive corporations that are okay with making zero money, or in some cases even losing money the first year of the service, that's not us at the end of the day. Like, we need to be in the money from not necessarily day one. Like, you guys know, I talk about how some of our packages, we don't really start making money until month 3, month 6, whatever the case may be. But we have to be making money within that first year. Otherwise, it's just not worth it for us at the end of the day. Now, could that change when, if we get to, say, 500 to 1,000 employees or something? Sure. But, on this channel right now, we're talking about us one-man crews. Most of you that are watching, you're either just getting ready to start, or you're like me. You may have one or two guys with you. Some of you have like 10 technicians roughly. I know, Salvador, you tune in a lot of times. You've got, I think he said like 10 or 11 technicians, 10 or 11 employees, something like that. But most of us are relatively small, to where like we need to make money on a account within the first year, right? So keep that in mind whenever you're factoring in, okay, how much am I willing to pay per lead? Like I said, me personally, my number is no higher than about 50 to 75 bucks. Once my cost per lead starts getting over 70, $75, I'm not very happy. And once it gets over 100, I'm just like, I need to figure something out. Hopefully I haven't missed any questions, by the way. I see right now we got like one or two of you all in here at the moment. If you all have any questions, definitely don't hesitate to drop it in the chat. And I am in talks still with Gorilla Desk, Chris of Gorilla Desk, as a matter of fact, about getting you guys some kind of like affiliate code for Gorilla Desk. He was telling me that something is down on that side of their platform in terms of affiliates and stuff like that. Because we're in talks with them about, like I said, getting you guys some kind of affiliate hookup, like an affiliate code, or maybe you can get some kind of discount or intro offer or something like that. And yeah, that'd be awesome for you guys, because shoot, I mean, anything helps when you're first getting started in the industry, right? I'm trying to think what kind of deal I had when I first started with Gorilla Desk. I want to say I got like my first 2 weeks for free or something like that. I don't even remember if I used a promo code. I think I seen an ad of theirs or something like that. And yeah, we've been using them ever since. So trying to think if there were any other questions, because we don't have any questions in the comments right now. Yeah, that'll slow traffic down. Freaking refrigerator on the side of the, or not side, in the middle of the highway. Another common question. Let's see. We went over how to become legally able to start your business. We went over, what is, in my opinion, the best way to go about getting leads for your business. I'm trying to think, and I see we have a few of you guys tuning in. Let me know in the chat if there's any questions that you've really been thinking about lately when it comes to starting or growing your pest control business. That way we can get those answered for you guys. I'm trying to do some more of these live streams for you guys, either in the morning or the afternoons on my way home from work. My wife was letting me know that she would definitely appreciate a little bit more baby time in the evenings. So I'm trying to make sure that we can still work some streams in for you all and all that type of stuff. But definitely let me know. Like I said, these streams are for you. If you have any questions about about starting or growing a pest control company or anything business or finance related. We talk about all those subjects here: starting and growing a pest control business, achieving financial freedom, investing, just growing as a leader in a business, person, aka entrepreneur is the fancy word right now. By the way, I may be getting ready to have some spotty service right up here. So if we lose the stream for just a second, bear with me. I'll be right back if for some reason there is a break in the service or anything like that. I know right here on this toll road, there's always like a little dead spot for like 5 seconds because, of course, I'll be on the phone with people during the day, and it seems like every time I come through here, it'll go out for just a few seconds. But I'm trying to think. Oh, another common question I get is, who do I use for our pest control business insurance? And this is another great question that we don't really talk about a lot because it's just kind of boring stuff. No one really likes to talk about the insurance, taxes, and all of that type of stuff. But we use Lipka currently, I should say, because that's the thing. Insurance for your business for pest control, it's a lot like auto insurance, in my opinion. You should every year be taking a look at your policy, see what your coverage is, see what your rate is, make sure you're getting the best rate for your insurance at the end. And like I said, we use Lipka right now. It's costing us, I want to say it came out to, I was actually wrong. I've been telling you guys for a while it was like $1,200. I went back and looked at it. It was actually around like $600. So it really wasn't too bad at all. I think that's why I went with them. As a matter of fact, I hear from everybody the first year or two with Lipka is usually pretty cheap, and then that third or fourth year they really jack the price up on you, like double to triple. So I'll keep you guys updated because we pay ours yearly towards the end of the year, every year in December. I'll definitely keep you guys updated, let you know if we go away from them. There is a company here in Texas that we used before when we were first starting our business the first year. They only insure Texas businesses specifically, as far as I know. I believe, what's the name of their company? I can't even think now off the top of my head. I'll have to mention them in another stream. Their customer service is so-so, but they have really good policies. I'll say that. It's just this older guy and this older woman, like they're old married couple, and they run that business. And yeah, they can. There's some reviews on there that are funny to read about their customer service, but they take care of you if nothing else, and they have really good rates on theirs as well. The only downside is, like I said, for you guys specifically, they only service Texas pest control businesses. But for national, I would say Lipka is going to be your best bet early on. I know another company people have been talking about lately is Markle, I believe. Markle, something like that. That's another company that people are saying is pretty good for pest control business insurance. I personally haven't, used them or anything, but, never say never. Like I said, these insurance companies, it's the same thing as auto insurance. You should always be shopping that once every year or two at the minimum to make sure you're getting the best rate, best coverage, all that stuff. But yeah, hopefully you guys have been enjoying the stream so far. If you have, do me a favor, smash that thumbs up button. It lets me know that you guys like this type of streaming format. If there's any issues with the stream or anything, definitely don't hesitate to let me know. I wouldn't be surprised if it's lagging occasionally here and there, just because, of course, I'm driving and we're depending solely on cell phone service at the end of the day. I was mentioning this actually at the beginning of the stream that, part of living in a area like the Dallas, Texas area where just everything's booming, you have hundreds of thousands of people moving here like every year. It's hard for them to keep up from an infrastructure standpoint, and the cell phone service is definitely something that has been lacking of late. They're slowly switching us over to that 5G ultra wideband, whatever that crap is, and in all honesty, from what I've experienced with this so far, it's worse than 4G LTE. That's my own experience so far on it, but hopefully over time, as they continue to get the infrastructure up to date, things will get better. Everybody made fun of us, of course, whenever we had that massive blackout. What was it, like 2 winters ago, roughly 2 or 3 winters ago? Um, the good thing is it hasn't happened since then. And I will say, to Texas credit, they've been. I mean, I'm driving right now where they're messing with some of the infrastructure, power lines and stuff. They've been working their ass off on getting that stuff taken care of, at least in my area. If you're in the Texas area, let me know how everything's working out for you all as well. But to be back on subject, I appreciate you tuning in as always to the live streams. Of course, if you have any questions, I didn't see any come in so far, but if you have any questions, don't hesitate to let me know in the chat below. We do these streams for you guys specifically for those of you that are looking to start a pest control business, or maybe you already have a pest control business and you're just looking to network with other pest control business owners on like how to grow your pest control business, how to streamline your pest control business to where maybe you can start looking to hire people. We're actually kind of slowly but surely getting to that stage ourselves. Like you all know, we had our first technician. He lasted about a month roughly. We had just some stuff. Some of it wasn't even really in our control exactly, but there were some other things as well that factored into having to let him go, unfortunately. So that did ultimately, he's still going to do some work for us as like a 1099 employee, or I say employee, but a 1099 contractor for doing just like some of our rodent exclusion work for us. And then from there, the pivot, because there's always a pivot, right? There's always, okay, this happened, now we have to do this. So the pivot to that situation was, like I told my wife, I was like, well, things can't keep going how it is right now in terms of me missing all these calls, this and that and the other. So our solution was, she is helping me, of course, answer phone calls, get things scheduled. Shout out to her. She's been learning very quickly on the fly. I know she doesn't watch every single video or stream that I do, but any of them that she sees, I want her to know that she's definitely appreciated in terms of that. I listen to recordings of her, and she's definitely learning it very quickly on the fly. Anytime she doesn't know something, she's very quick to figure it out, get the answer from me, get it in her head or on paper, if nothing else, so she'll have it for the next time, and make the sell at the end of the day. And that alone has been helping us big time. This month has been so, in all honesty. It's been about like I want to say an average month. The beginning of the weeks have been pretty busy. I say weeks. This is only the second week of the month, obviously. Last week we started out pretty busy. Monday, Tuesday were just busy. Wednesday and then Thursday, Friday, just literally no activity. Now we don't run any ads really from Friday through Sunday, so that explains that for the most part. But I was surprised that Wednesday we didn't receive like hardly any activity at all. So, yeah, no, it's a process for sure. It's never gonna be. That's one thing about starting this business is you think that it'll kind of just be this, oh, if I can do say 10 accounts per week or 50 accounts per week or whatever number you're doing per week, per month, whatever the case may be, you think to yourself, if I can just do this every week, every month, etc., that you'll get to this and this and that. And to a certain degree, that's true. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, you want to have, in my opinion, the most important ones are quarterly and yearly goals. Those are your most important ones because the path to get there, the day to day, it's like waves. Like I said, you'll have days, for example, for us, it tends to be Mondays and Tuesdays where you're riding high. And then you have days where you're kind of riding low, and appreciate those days that, you're riding low because, at some point you will get to a point in your pest control business where, there just are no lows. Like, you're just nonstop, just go, go, go. Any of you that have worked for these large companies know exactly what I mean, right? During the dog days of summer, it can get pretty hectic out here, right? So appreciate those days as the business owner, operator, etc., where the days are, kind of low, because it's definitely not always going to be like that for sure. And like I said, guys, I see we got about half a dozen of you in here at the moment. If you have any questions or anything, definitely just drop it in the chat. Just in some traffic heading home at the moment. Um, it looks like Chris might have just got me an affiliate link for you guys set up. So I'll be sure to start putting that in the description box of videos for you guys that are looking to get in Gorilla Desk. I'll try to figure out the details of it, if there's any type of deal or anything like it in there for you guys. But either way, there'll be a link going forward in the videos, live streams, etc. for you guys. But if you have any questions, don't hesitate. Drop it down in the chat below. We may have time later this evening as well to do a live stream for you guys. It's hard to say for sure. My wife was being totally honest with me, letting me know that, hey, I'm having kind of a rough day. Do you think you're going to be able to help me out this evening a bit? So, you know how it is with children, right? You have those days where, they're just beating the hell out of you, right? Apparently, our youngest was just a pain in the butt, to say the least, today. She didn't want to be sat down at all, anything like that whatsoever. So my wife got virtually nothing done, it sounds like. At least what she considers nothing done, like nothing done around the house, right? So if we're able to, we're probably going to do another actual live stream, a more, personal setup or whatever, not in a truck or whatever with bad cell phone service. We're in another hole right now, so bear with me if we lose service for half a second or so. I'm trying to think. Like I said, hopefully you guys are enjoying the stream too. If you are, do me a favor, smash the thumbs up button. Lets me know that you guys appreciate the content. I don't know why we're stopped down here. The light is literally green. Gotta love it, right? But yeah, we're probably gonna go live again this evening for you guys, assuming that time bearing, we'll have time to do that. If so, it'll probably be similar to last night, where it's a little bit later, probably around 9 p.m. Central Time. I'm here in the Dallas, Texas area, of course. If you all don't know, I know most of you that tune in do know where we're located, but for newer viewers that are tuning in, I'm located in a central time zone in the U.S. So if I say 9 p.m. or something, that'd be 10 p.m. East Coast. What would that be, like 7 p.m. on the West Coast, if I recall, and something like 3 p.m. if you're out there in Hawaii or anything like that. But yeah, as always, if you have any questions or anything like that whatsoever, don't hesitate to drop it in the comments below. Like I said, hopefully you guys have been enjoying the stream. If you are, smash that thumbs up button. I love you all for smashing that thumbs up button. It lets me know that you guys like the streams. I see we got like 6 or 8 of you. It keeps kind of bouncing back and forth. 6 or 8 of you tuning in right now, and we've got 1 like. Do me a favor. Let's get up to like 3 to 5 likes, if nothing else. Nothing crazy. Just a couple of y'all smashing that thumbs up button. I appreciate it for sure. I always appreciate you guys tuning in and all that good stuff as well. I'm getting close to being home, so we'll probably start wrapping up the stream here in a few minutes. But I'm trying to think. I want to leave you all with one more answer to a common question. So we went over insurance. We went over how to get started with your business, the right way, legally, at least in a broad sense, right? We went over my favorite way to go about getting, leads to a certain degree. What is another common question that I get from you guys? I'm trying to think. Because y'all ask a lot of good questions. I'm trying to think. Oh, of course. What is the best, platform that I would suggest for using for like a CRM, for keeping track of your customers, scheduling, payments, all that. For payments, we use Stripe, of course. Square isn't bad, but we like Stripe better, the integration of everything in Gorilla Desk, which leads me to the CRM. We use Gorilla Desk for all of that stuff. Those two combined work excellent. You can integrate it with QuickBooks as well if you want. I found I like it personally better not being integrated, but in some cases, some people love integrating it with QuickBooks. For us, it just kind of made an error for us. I just didn't really. If you're going to use QuickBooks for processing payments, sending out your invoices, all of that stuff, which if you're going to do that, I don't know why you would sign up for Gorilla Desk ultimately, unless if you're just using it for scheduling, I guess. But if you're looking at using a CRM, like I said, we use Gorilla Desk. I'm now apparently gonna have an affiliate link for you guys here starting tonight. I'll start plugging them in the videos and everything for you guys. Chris just messaged me. He's the CEO, I believe, owner of Gorilla Desk. So no, that'll be awesome to help hook you guys up with hopefully some kind of deal maybe or something. And then, of course, if you have any questions after this live stream turns into a video, you can just let me know in the comments below. I just got home, so I'm going to go in there, hammer out some quick paperwork real quick. I just found out I have a freaking daycare that I got to go and do a follow-up for around 6 o'clock tomorrow evening, which is not ideal whatsoever. But sometimes, like I say, sometimes you got to do shit you don't want to do when it comes to running your business at the end of the day. So I got to get some paperwork ready for that because apparently they're needing like copies of their invoices or something. They've been getting the emails, but I'm going to get those printed out for them. Going to do some other documentation stuff, making sure that we got our work orders all filled out correctly and everything. Because sometimes when it gets hot out here, I'm just like, complete, move on to the next one, right? So make sure all that is state compliant. And then, of course, take a look through YouTube, take a look at your comments, help my wife out, like I mentioned, for a little bit. And then we'll probably look to do a live stream somewhere around 9 p.m. tonight is what I'm aiming for. Like I said, 9 p.m. Central, maybe 8:30 if I can get my 4-year-old. She'll be 4-year-old this week, really, this Saturday. Get her down early enough, then we'll go live around 9 p.m. I'll get you, or 8:30 to 9 p.m. I'll schedule it on YouTube time. I'm trying to do better. That way you guys know ahead of time when to plan on, the live stream specifically. I notice the further out I schedule it, the more of you tend to tune in. Last night we had close to 20 of you all for a little bit. That was awesome to see so many people in the live chat and everything. So yeah, hope to see you in there tonight. Hopefully you guys will be a little bit more chatty. I know you evening viewers tend to be a little more chatty and whatnot. I'm sure most of you are out there in the field right now too. So stay safe out there. Keep your water, keep your electrolytes, everything you need to stay hydrated out here. It's not a joke. And I will see you guys hopefully this evening for another live stream. Take it easy, everybody. Stay safe and go get the life that you and your family deserve.